Good Wednesday evening and welcome into the High School Fan Zone. I am Randy Rosetta. You have dialed into 100.7 The Score, and hopefully you're not a first-time visitor because this is something we do 3 nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the fall. After Thanksgiving, we slice it back to Monday and Wednesday so that folks can get to their high school basketball games. But we are here tonight, and tonight in the High School Fan Zone, it will be Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper. I mentioned this a bunch, but I want to do it a few more times for a few more weeks. We shuffled the deck a little bit this year. Monday nights will be Estacado, Memorial, and Liberty, the 2 new schools, and Estacado leading off. Tuesday nights are Monterey and Coronado, and Wednesday nights like tonight are Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper. From 6 to 7:30 p.m. on Friday nights, you can listen to the West Texas Friday Night Preview Show on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. Those same 2 stations will also have the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show, 9:30 to midnight. Archive shows can be found for this show and just about anything on our networks at doubletsportsnetwork.com. And don't forget to download the 100.7 The Score mobile app to listen live or to listen to podcasts of all 8 High School Fan Zone shows. We're going to jump into the Westerner Fan Zone. We've got a crowd up here tonight. I don't think these are all of Juan Rodriguez's friends, but there's a few of them up here. If you're watching on TV, Juan Rod is the guy to the far left, the distinguished-looking gentleman with the gray. I can't say anything. Mine's gray as well.
It's great, very great.
I'm going to let him introduce the 3 coaches and/or coordinators he brought with him.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. Right next to you is our defensive coordinator, Caden Fregia. Next to him is our offensive coordinator, Emilio Garcia. And a gentleman that we've had the honor of having our staff joined up this year is Brian Moore, who's basically taken over some of our secondary calls moving through the year.
So you make me feel old when you bring Caden, because there ain't no gray in that beard.
No.
Can you grow a beard yet?
I've been working on this for a long time.
It's got 2 hairs. Let's just go for that.
Then you bring Brian, who I actually covered when he was in high school at Friendship. So thanks, man. Thanks for that.
And Brian said that, that's been some time back, so I can only imagine how
it has been.
Old you are today, Randy.
I've got a few years on you. So
yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes.
Brian was an incredible 2-sport guy. He played for, trying to think of your baseball coaches. Did you play for Eric Leger?
Yes, sir.
And, of course, the legend Bobby Davis.
Yes, sir.
I wish you would have got a chance to meet Bobby Davis when you got back. He passed away last summer.
Yes, sir.
Were you at the funeral?
I was not. I was in Houston.
The 2 guys who gave the players' eulogy, former players' eulogy, were Donnie Hart and David Thomas.
Oh, wow.
And it was incredible, the things they said about. And that was a packed church, and understandably why.
Yes, sir.
You don't go anywhere for a while. I'm happy that you're healthier than when we first. Well, we're both a little healthier than when we first met. Yes, thank goodness. You guys, I bet you're feeling pretty healthy coming off of you guys' last game, 48-21. I keep wanting to cheat Snyder of a touchdown. They got a late touchdown there. We'll give them full credit for it. 48-21, first win of the season for the Westerners, and that was a solid game for you guys, I thought. Did some nice things offensively, kept them in check for most of the night until they got a couple late. When you looked at video, I guess that would have been Friday morning, Saturday morning, when you looked at it, what was your assessment of it?
Well, I think overall, I thought we actually played 4 quarters. And that's something that our kids and our coaches have talked about. I'm very blessed that I've got coordinators that really delegate responsibilities within their own staffs, and they do a lot of that on their own. But to hear them, they don't know I'm always listening, but for them to hear their conversations about what they thought about the game is really encouraging. They thought our kids played really well, and I did too. We played a complete game. I thought we had a solid defensive game plan. Our offense continues to put up some yards and does. I think we were a little bit more balanced. If I overheard my coach say, I get to make 2 calls on a Friday night, one on defense and one on offense, and I try to make 2 on offense this year, and I was told no. So I'm only allowed to make that. So I won't tell you which play it was, but it did work the one time I did call it. So, but yeah, I'm real proud of our staff, real proud of our kids, and we just continue to try to improve this week and get better as we get ready to go on the road and face the 3-0 San Angelo Lakeview team.
Yeah, when I typed that in the other day, that caught my attention. I don't know if they've been 3-0 for a while. They've had some struggles, but down there, that's a big old town to have just 2 high schools. So Kate, I'm going to start with you because This dude several times has told me, I don't coach anymore. I just let those guys coach. They just when they let me coach, I do something. He's a pretty good defensive mind, so I'm going to guess that he still gets to intervene a little bit.
Oh, he's a fantastic defensive mind. Don't get it twisted. And he has full permission to call anything he wants on defense. I don't know why he comes and acts like he's not a part of what we do. But I think he does, and I don't think it's that he's not involved. I think he does a great job of himself distributing responsibilities and showing us, hey, this is maybe the way I would do it, or if he sees us maybe doing something wrong, he gets us back on track in a positive way, in a leadership role. And I think that's the number one thing I really appreciate about Coach Rod.
Remember which other head coach I was talking to the other day, but we talked about how the difference between being a coordinator or an assistant coach is these guys have to put out small fires. You're the head coach, you got to put out all of the fires, and that's one reason there is some delegation. So,
absolutely.
Emilio, did he call the long touchdown to Blakely the other night? Was that his call?
That was not his call.
Okay, I was trying to give you credit there for that one.
That was not his call. His call was a 4th and 2 play that we didn't quite execute. Now, on his defense, the play was there. We just didn't execute that particular play. But he has some pull on the offensive side.
There weren't a whole lot of plays you didn't execute on offense the other night, though, and that's kind of become a theme with you guys this season. The long play I'm talking about was beautiful. Just watching it. One thing I like from above is a play like that. You get to watch it kind of unfold because that young man ran I don't know if it was a perfect route. You may have seen some things he could have done different. It was a really good route, and then Zach threw a really good ball to get it to him.
Well, on that particular play, that was a complete team effort. Coach Miller up in the box saw some things along with Coach Carrillo, and then our offensive line coach, Coach Leal up there, saw some things that we could take some advantage of, and then wide receivers coach on the sideline, Matthew, said, hey, we can get him on a post here. So we did plan that play the previous drive just based off what we saw earlier in the game, and the guys went out there and executed it. I don't want to say to perfection, but it looked very nice.
Yeah, you can't let them think it's perfect.
Exactly.
Yet. Coming up on our first break of the night, we'll be back in the Westerner Fan Zone. Reminder, these guys hit the road for San Angelo Lakeview, 7 p.m. Friday at San Angelo Stadium. We'll be down the radio dial a little bit, but Rob Bro, familiar voice, will be on the call. We'll be back after this break in the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
The reasons that we're truly excited was the complex.
Welcome back into the Westerner Fan Zone. This is a Wednesday night. We're talking Lubbock High football, as we will we're not going to just talk football. I will try to get Matt Leesman in here at some point, and then we'll start to get some basketball coaches in. But right now we're going to focus on football. And along those lines, let me read through this weekend's schedule in and around Lubbock. I mentioned these guys go to San Angelo Lakeview, 7 p.m. Friday at San Angelo Stadium. Lubbock Cooper and Friendship meet out in Wolfers. Brian, when you played there, you guys didn't play Lubbock Cooper. Lubbock Cooper was still just a little country school at that point. That is the HubCpreps.com game of the week. That one you can hear right here on 100.7 The Score for the Lubbock Cooper broadcast, and on Double T 97.3 for the Friendship broadcast. Coronado tries to get on the winning side of things. They head down to Shotwell Stadium to take on Abilene Cooper, 7 p.m. Friday. That's on 96.9 The Bull. Monterey also wants to get back in the winning ways. It went to El Paso, had a long road trip and lost a shootout, had to make that long trip back. They are at home at Lowry Field against Odessa High at 7 p.m. That's on 93.7 The Eagle. Estacado goes to the historic Mustang Bowl down in Sweetwater for a 7 p.m. kickoff. That's down the radio dial a little bit with Nick Long on the call. Liberty's at home. This is another really good game in town on Friday. Liberty is at home against Seminole at 7 p.m. Friday at Patriot Stadium on 93.1 Young Country. Trinity Christian is on the road at Floydada. Lubbock Christian's at home against Wellington at Mass Rider Capitol Field at 7 p.m. Plainview goes, I'm not sure which direction Dumas is from Plainview. I should know that, but I don't. Our former Hereford coach would know.
Northeast.
There we go. They are at 7 p.m. I think that's Demon Stadium. Choice Woodman would correct me if I'm wrong. He's a Dumas guy. Levelland is at home against Brownfield at 7 p.m. And in six-man TAPS football, Kingdom Prep goes down to Abilene Christian for a 7 p.m. kickoff. We're going to get Brian in here to talk because Brian's a Friendship graduate, but he coached at Hereford. What other stops have you made before Juan lured you back here to Lubbock?
So I've gone to Huffman, which is close to Humble in Houston area.
Okay.
I've been there twice. I coached in the Aldine area there for 3 or 4 years. And then like you said, Coach Juan lured me in for sure.
Hereford, you were the varsity head baseball coach.
Yes, sir.
For how long?
I was there for 3 years.
So I don't know if this dude told he was a really good baseball player. He played on some really good teams, and you were a receiver in football?
Yes, sir.
And played with – were you on the team that went to the state semifinals the first time?
Yes, sir. So we went and got beat by Denton Ryan pretty handily.
Yes, you did. But to get there was a big deal.
Yes,
that
sir.
That was a breakthrough. The year before, you played Stephenville at Texas Stadium.
Yes, sir.
And that's when I got my indoctrination to how annoying Stephenville fans can be with those – I don't know what those
One
shakers.
of my most favorite games of all time,
That
for
was
sure.
great
That's
game.
when we lured Kendall to
I was
come
going
to
to say you wound up getting the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Now his dad coming didn't hurt either.
No, that didn't hurt.
That was part of it. So Juan, when you knew that Brian wanted to come back to Lubbock, you met him. What was it about him that meshed with you guys?
Well, I think a lot of it is personality, and I believe in family. And I believe that, coaches spend a lot of time together and they should get along and they should work well with each other. And I'm very blessed to have that atmosphere there at Lubbock High now. And I truly feel that we support one another. And in talking to Brian, he kind of just meshed with that whole philosophy. More importantly, I coached in that area, years back. So I knew his head coach because I coached against him and was able to chat a little bit. But then, Hank Similar knows everybody in the state of Texas pretty much. So Hank called me. He goes, "Yeah, if you heard of this guy has applied, you might want to talk to him, and get him." And so we did, and found out that he coached baseball, and that he was also a secondary guy. And we were losing our secondary coach, so we were just kind of blessed to have him basically come into our lives a little bit. We had great conversation. I talked about some blizzards and stuff like that. He obviously likes blizzards too, and that was kind of the selling point for both of us. And we just knew that we belonged in the same staff. And Brian had some hiccups, almost not making it, trying to sell his home. But I think God had a plan for him and his family, and we're just glad that he's back home in Lubbock, and that we're very blessed that he's at Lubbock High.
But you got him to move away from Hereford, that I told you, I think the last time, has the best press box burritos of any place I've ever been. That's a good selling point right there.
I don't know anything about eating at, like some of my coaches do, from what I understand. I know that Lubbock ISD has a fair share as well. But I'm not familiar with that because I usually don't get that type of.
The next time you guys play on a Thursday, come up on Friday and we'll test it out. So
yeah, I can definitely agree with that, Randy. Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a minute because we're inching up on a break. You three can vouch for this. He's going to not say it. That's a pretty good recruiting tool right there, guys. It's wanting to come to work for Juan Rodriguez. That's something that Lubbock High and LISD are benefiting from right now. So we're coming up on a break. We'll come back with one more segment of the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Westerner Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. We're in the Westerner Fan Zone. We'll talk a little bit about football instead of everything else. It's been fun, though, to talk about other stuff. San Angelo Lakeview looks like they fling it around, so I'm going to get defensive coordinator here to talk a bit about this. This young man, 11 touchdowns, 853 yards in 3 games. I'm trying to think if you guys have played a team that throws it a bunch, but how ready are your guys for this kind of challenge?
I think we're well prepared. I think it's very true. They do sling it around a lot. I think they do a good job at what they do. They seem like they're always on the same page, and they execute really well. But I think the story going into this week is the same as it is every week. Can we execute our plan? No matter what's kind of thrown at us, can we stick to what we're doing and be disciplined enough to do our job on every play?
And it looks like it's not necessarily deep stuff. It looks like they have a lot of guys that have receptions for not much. It's more underneath stuff.
Yes, exactly. There's not really one, I think, that stood out. They kind of, like I said, they have a lot of different things they like to do, and they do it well. they'll throw it deep here a little bit, but might be a little slant here, a little something out here, and they just do it really well.
And knock on fake wood, you guys cut back on giving up the big plays last week until late in the game.
Until you said something, I would like to think we tried.
So, Emilio, your guys have put up yards, put up points. You may have to do that again. I'm going to get him mad at me because Lakeview can score. They've got, they've scored 42, 49, 44 points. So they know how to move the ball and put it in the end zone. So that, no pressure on you, but you guys need to be ready to.
No, definitely. We've taken that into account when we go into our game planning sessions on the weekends. The good thing for us is we have an excellent running game that we can rely on, and if we need to do some things to control the tempo, we certainly have that capability. But the one thing that I love about us offensively is we can go toe-to-toe with anybody, and then if we want to slow it down, then we can do that as well. So
we've got at least a two-headed monster in the backfield.
Yes, sir.
I saw both guys run the ball really well the other night.
Yeah, we had a good rotation this last week. Bo led the way like he's done the previous 3 weeks. Anthony Boyd came back off of a hamstring that's been bothering him earlier in the year, so he got in the rotation. And then Kevin joined in the mix last week, so definitely gives us a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball as well.
So you guys radio guy, Rob Rowe, was here when I got here, and we were chatting. And I told him, Zach Rania, from what I can tell, has made a big jump from junior to senior year. He just looks much more comfortable in his skin.
Oh, absolutely. Zach's done a tremendous job from the spring, the work that he's put in over the summer. There was a couple of times in 7-on-7, some of the throws that he would make, it was kind of like, where did that come from? And so it's kind of like, I'll see some things in practice. I was like, I've seen you do it. Trust yourself because you have that ability to do some great things. And he's learning. He's been in the film room for the last couple of weeks just trying to continue to get better because he knows we haven't reached our full potential yet.
That's scary for other defensive coordinators. Brian, coming to Lubbock High, you were part of a great football program at Friendship.
Yes, sir.
Like we were talking about, got to the state semifinals for the first time in Friendship history. You come in, you kind of see a new environment. What's it been like for you to kind of watch these guys and learn and kind of get familiar with Lubbock High's traditions and where they're headed with Juan as the captain over there?
Well, I mean, that struck me the very first time I was out here. Like Coach said, had some trouble getting moved down here, so I got here late July. And my very first day was one of those summer workouts. And I've been a part of a lot of summer workouts at a lot of schools. I've never seen that many kids show up, and I've never seen that many coaches that excited to have that many kids. I've worked at a lot of places, and I love everywhere I've worked. I don't know that I've seen the energy from any staff like I've seen from this one, and I think you're seeing the dividends of that with kids wanting to continuously join. So it's everything you'd ever hope for as a coach, for sure.
So you're a Pied Piper for coaches and players. That's what we've determined here in this half hour.
That's a big phrase, Randy. But thank you. Appreciate that. Just blessed. Blessed to have the staff, the kids, the community, the support, our principal, our athletic director, our superintendent. Everybody's been huge in where we're at this point, but we're still trying to get better, and that's just the process that we're in. We're still in the process, and it's exciting to see what's ahead.
Dude also leads a good pep rally. I'll leave it right there. We're going to wrap it up in the Westerner Fan Zone. This is Randy Rosetta. We'll be back on 100.7 Score in the Tiger Fan Zone right after this.